Good morning. My name is Jane Rago, and I am honored to serve as your worship associate on this New Year's Eve day. We welcome our guest speaker, Randy Blasch. Randy has been a UU for over 25 years and lives in Gainesville, Georgia with his 9-year-old dog, Bentley. He is a father and a grandfather and an outgoing introvert. Randy graduated from the University of Iowa many moons ago and is currently finishing up his seminary studies at Meadville Lombard, and serves as the intern minister at the UU Fellowship of Statesboro and the Unitarian Universalist of Coastal Georgia. Welcome, Randy. And welcome to you all to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah. We are working to build a diverse, multicultural, and beloved community, and we celebrate the presence and participation of LGBTQI and straight people of all races, genders, abilities, and national and ethnic origins. We welcome you on YouTube, which I have up and running, and on site, whoever you know yourself to be and wherever you are on your journey. If you're visiting us this morning and would like to introduce yourself, please rise or raise your hand. Or you can go ahead and use the chat on YouTube and I'll introduce you to the congregation. Raven will bring you a microphone. Are there any visitors on this side who would like to introduce themselves?
I'm Kathy Gonski, and I'm visiting from the Nashville Unitarian Universalist Church.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Gloria, and I'm visiting from the Unitarian Society of Germantown in Philadelphia area.
Welcome. Are there any visitors on this side who would like to introduce themselves?
Hi, my name is Lauren, and this is my spouse, Helen, and I'm wearing my congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst, newly purchased shirt. Amherst, Massachusetts.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. We welcome you all. Please join us in the social hall for refreshments following the service. And you can find the social hall by going through these doors, out those doors, and following the crowd, or simply ask any one of us. There are 2 cards in the back of your pew that will help us gather information for the good of our community. Use the rainbow chalice card, either the QR code or the space to write your contact information, and you can sign up there for our newsletter and to receive a welcome letter from our minister. YouTubers, you can use the email address, which I will put in the chat soon. Also, to share a joy or a sorrow today, please use the card with the red heart and chalice. YouTube, you can do this in the chat as well, and we will read out loud later on. If you fill out either of these cards, please place them in the collection plate a little later during the service. Church announcements are emailed to members and friends on Tuesdays and Fridays, so make sure to check your inbox for details, but we do have some announcements today. There will be a free Mpox vaccine clinic in Ron Hall on January 5th from 10 to 2 p.m. Spread the word. Reverend Lisa is offering a starting point class on January 16th and January 23rd. The sign-up deadline is January 14th, so check your email for how to register for that. To foster more multi-generational connections, our religious education program is kicking off a Mystery Friend program. This is a pen pal program where members of the congregation, you, will be paired anonymously with members of the RE, and you will write letters to each other through the month of January, and then you will be revealed to each other on Valentine's Day. If you're interested, please contact Megan Dunkelberg. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah will be representing at our City Council inauguration to swear in Mayor Van Johnson. That is Tuesday, January 7th at 7 p.m. January 2nd, sorry. Raven Dodd will be giving the benediction, and this is open to the public. Okay. We are also having our first, but again, UU service auction. So this is time to raise money and celebrate in community and party down together on February 10th. So save the date and keep your ears open for more information and solicitations. Lily, do you want to?
It's me again. Can you hear me okay? Good morning and Happy New Year. My name is Lily Hutto, and I am part of the Special Task Force to have small meetings to talk to you about calling Reverend Lisa. Now, these meetings are small, and they're pleasant, and they're fun, and they last an hour. So I want to let you know, not all of you members have attended, and so we are working hard during the month of January to get you into a meeting. So some of you can't actually physically come into the room, so we are doing a Zoom January 3rd at 2 p.m. You just need to write me an email or contact our admin at uusavannah.org, and she will send you the Zoom link. You can also sign up by putting your name on a list in Ron Hall, or again, just send us an email if there's a date that you want to know more about. All dates are listed in the January newsletter. So thank you very much.
And David has an announcement.
Good morning. Our choir is off today. They worked very hard Christmas Eve, and we thank them for that. I'm sorry to say that our scheduled soloist today, Kurt Ullman, is not feeling well, a little bit under the weather, so we wish him a speedy recovery. And amazingly, in his place, our guest speaker, Randy Blasch, is going to sing the solo of it in the midwinter, and I will tell you that he will do it very credibly. So it's a wonderful, wonderful treat that he's giving us in addition to his message. And at the meditation, I will play an arrangement of Sussex Carol. And at the refreshment music, I'm going to play Auld Lang Syne, and all of you are welcome to sing along with me for whatever many of the words you know. That's it.
With the lighting of our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, we enter into sacred time. Our chalice lighter this morning is returning visitor and guest Liz Rainey. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Jakaran Olaaya. We light this chalice here in the darkness of winter as we wait. This temporary space is one filled with prayers to be answered, love to be given and received, miracles to be witnessed. May this light guide us all until the light of sun returns.
Good morning. That was pretty good, but not good enough for me. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's better, thank you. Our call to worship this morning is something that I wrote especially for my time here with you today. I wonder about tomorrow. What will it bring? What new adventures will be in store? Will I find hope in a sunrise? Or joy in the sight of the deer in my yard? Will tomorrow bring that inspiration? Hold on, I apologize, my machine is broken down. Will tomorrow bring that inspiration I need to craft the finest sermon? Or will I hear that song on the radio that I haven't heard in years that will cause the memories to flood over me? Will we finally see peace on earth? Or first contact from another worldly place? What will tomorrow bring? I sit and I wonder about tomorrow. And suddenly I realize, in all my wondering, that I missed today.
Will you please rise if you're willing and able to join us for Hark the Herald Angels Sing, which you will find in your order of service, the lyrics. Will all of those, old and young, or who would like to hear the story, join me up front for the story for all ages? Okay. Can you hear me? Thanks. Okay. Okay. This is The Last Wild Witch by Starhawk, condensed and edited for Sunday morning at the UUCS. Once there was a perfect town in a perfect world where there were rules for everything and a right way and a wrong way to do everything, and nobody ever broke the rules. Well, hardly ever. For on the farthest edge of the perfect town stood the last magic forest, and that forest was wild. The plants and the birds and the animals and the insects and the fish in the streams all lived according to their own natures, and they didn't follow any rules at all. In the very heart of the last magic forest lived the last wild witch. But she looked so ordinary that if you met her on the street, you might think she was your own grandmother. All day long, she brewed herbs and leaves and berries in her big magic cauldron, making a healing brew that she fed to the birds and the animals and the insects and the fish in the streams whenever they felt a little low. And all night long, she sang songs and drummed on her drum. And sometimes, when the wind was from the west, it would carry the fragrance of the magic brew or some of the drumming into the town. And sometimes, when the children were feeling low, or when they left their windows open, they'd sniff the brew or hear the songs, and some of that wildness would get into them. In the perfect town, the children always lined up perfectly to walk into their schoolroom, boys on one side, girls on the other, non-binary in the middle, in perfect alphabetical order. They sat perfectly still in their seats and learned their lessons to perfection, and no one ever misbehaved. Well, hardly ever. For when the wildness got inside them, they could not bear to walk in straight lines. They ran and jumped and danced and turned cartwheels on the perfectly smooth grass. They would not go inside when they were told. They stayed outside laughing in the sunshine and jumping in the puddles when it rained. Once in a great while, a few of the children would sneak out at night and run through the forest to visit the last wild witch. She would wink at them and grin and say, "Have some soup," and that's all she ever said. Once, Janie Green and Johnny Brown stayed out all night long, drinking the witch's magic brew and dancing with the rabbits and the deer and the birds. And they weren't even tired the next morning. Oh, but their parents were really tired and really mad. Something must be done, so the mayor called a meeting. The mayor and the grown-ups talked and talked, but the children were not allowed to say a word. The wildness comes from the witch in the wood, the grown-ups said, so let's cut down the forest. Late that night, when the wind was out of the west, Janie Green, Johnny Brown, and Billy Blue snuck out their open windows and ran into the forest down the dark paths. They ran so fast the deer could hardly keep up with them, past the rabbits, past the fish, until they reached the clearing where the witch was playing her drum. "Witch, witch, the grown-ups are coming to cut down the forest and chase you away. The bird and the deer and the rabbits and the insects won't have anywhere to live, and the trees will be dead. You have to do something." But the witch just smiled and said, "Have some soup." And the children cried themselves to sleep while dreaming of how to save the forest. The next morning, the mayor and the grown-ups gathered their axes and hatchets. The speeches were made, and they chopped into the first tree, who said, "Ouch!" The scared grown-ups ran away, so they came back with their earbuds. This time, when they started to cut them down, the trees swatted them on their butts. They came back the next day with torches to burn the forest down. The children ran to tell the witch. "Witch, witch, the grown-ups are coming, and this time they're going to burn the forest down." The witch just smiled and said, "Have some soup." "Why don't you ever say anything to us?" Johnny asked. "Why won't you do something to save yourself?" The witch just smiled and spooned more broth into their bowls, and then Janie Green remembered she had a dream. Maybe we're supposed to do something. Maybe we're supposed to save the forest. But what can we do? We're just kids. We have a plan. The next morning, when the grown-ups brought their torches, all the children ran into the forest and hid. "Come out," cried the mayor. "We can't burn the forest with you in it." So the grown-ups had to go into the forest to find the children. "Huh," said Janie's mother. "It's kind of pleasant in this forest." The mayor glared at her. At last, the grown-ups came to the clearing in the center, and there was the witch. She didn't seem so bad, the grown-ups thought. Why, she could be anybody's grandmother. The witch smiled at them and winked and said, "Have some soup." "Don't mind if I do," the mayor admitted, and the grown-ups sat down and drank the magic brew, and then some of the wildness got into them. From that day on, things changed in the perfect town. The grown-ups and the children often went to the woods to visit, and sometimes the witch even came to town, especially if somebody was sick or needed some taste of magic. The children still learned their lessons, but they danced and sang and walked in the woods, and they never stood in perfectly straight lines. The gardens grew wild, dandelions and daisies and wildflowers. And sometimes at night, when the wind came out of the west, carrying the wildness with it, everybody gathered to dance and sing all night long with the deer and the rabbits and the birds. And they weren't even tired the next morning. So things were not so perfect in the no longer perfect town, but they were much better. The end. The act of generosity is a spiritual expansion of our hearts and also a practical sustaining of our building, our staff, and our beloved community. To donate via debit or credit card, there's a QR code on the back of the order of service, or you can go to our website, which is in the YouTube chat, uusavannah.org, and click donate. Mailed checks are also welcome. Thank you for your generosity.
Christ, a homeless stranger, so the gospel say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place sufficed. Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ. Once more, child and mother weave their magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open, love is born again.
Today, nobody has shared a joy or a sorrow, so let us hold all of our joys and sorrows unspoken in our hearts as we join together in the responsive reading found in your order of service. Sorrow is everywhere, joy is reborn. As we mourn together, so we celebrate together and offer thanks that we are not alone. So may it be now and in all the days to come. Okay. And YouTube is quiet as well. Let us settle in wherever you are Feel free to close your eyes, keep them open, relax your jaw muscles, which we tend to clench unconsciously. We pause as the path of the sun reverses, seemingly holding its place for a moment of turning. Let us delve into the gifts of darkness here in our winter solstice. We follow curiosity and contemplation down into the cold earth, taking a journey to the world below the surface. Here, we find acorns cached by squirrels and chipmunks, perhaps to be food laid in store, or perhaps to become trees in the fullness of time. We find the burrows of hibernating animals, those who sleep and repair. Life finds rest and renewal in the darkness. May those who are weary find comfort. May those who are struggling find meaning and companionship. May those who are injured or ill find recovery. May those who hunger find abundance. And may the dreams of the dark lead us to share these gifts with one another. And now our imagination rises back to the surface, to life where the cold ground meets the crisp air. Here we observe life finding its way. We observe animals eating seeds left on the ground, though the harvest is long past. We notice the migration of birds, people, natural movement that allows populations to find the places where they can thrive. We observe the trees that appear to sleep and yet hold sap that will rise again before the spring arrives. We observe that not everything has lived through this winter, and yet all that has lived returns to the earth and is transformed. Let this be a time of resilience. May the changing seasons bring new meaning and new insight. May creativity and persistence lead us to find resources for all to share. May those who migrate find safety, and may there be good news in the wind. May transformation lead us onward. Finally, we lift our imagination to the sky, to the returning sun, and to the brilliant winter night. Shifting hours of light and darkness remind us that change is part of the rhythm of the universe, and trouble does not last. Acknowledging the gifts of darkness, we look toward the growing light, a change that brings glimmers of hope. We marvel at the beauty of this time, stars unobstructed by leaves, jewels of the night shining over the land, moon and meteors inspiring us all to awe and wonder. Let this be a time of celebration. What joy can be found, let us hold it close, blow on its embers, and share its spark. We do not take for granted having come this far, and we give thanks for our companions on this journey. We will have a minute of silence. Our reading today is also from Starhawk, called How to Enjoy the Season When the World Outside is Frightful. Number 1, just because things are bad, you don't have to feel bad all the time. We need to be aware of the uncomfortable realities around us, and we need to get angry about corruption, injustice, and cruelty. But we don't need to stay mad and afraid every moment of the day or night. Anger and fear are life force emotions designed to mobilize us to fight or flight. When we acknowledge them and let them move through us, they can energize us. But when we constantly stay in that aroused state, we will burn out. So when you find yourself suffused with low-level rage or nail-biting worry, let the emotion flow. Release it by breathing it out, singing it out, whack some pillows, chop some wood, go for a walk. Do something about it. Get out into the streets, organize others, call your representatives, or do whatever works for you. And then it's good to feel better. It's good to enjoy a walk in nature, a dinner with your loved ones, a cuddle with your children. It's good and okay to love those family members whose politics are widely divergent from your own. We need to enjoy the warmth, the comfort, and the pleasures in life. That is what will feed us and nourish us and keep us capable of making change. We also, too, need to practice gratitude and generosity. Even if you truly are being targeted or attacked, reinforce your sense of strength and resilience by acknowledging gifts and blessings in your life, and we all have some. Doing so will make us stronger, more able to withstand adversity, and more capable of challenging injustices. Out of that sense of fullness, you can give to others, whether that's an act of kindness to a friend or an act of solidarity and support for someone else who is under attack. Gratitude and generosity help move us out of cycles of resentment and self-pity and restore a sense of our own power and agency. These are dark, cold, and grim times, but the promise of solstice is that out of the longest and darkest night, the seeds of light are born. This ends the readings.
Number 20 in your hymnals, Be Thou My Vision. Stand as you are able, and let's make a joyful noise.
Today, in case you weren't aware, is New Year's Eve. It's a time we have historically spent looking back at the year past. It seems that every show you see on television has a retrospective of some sort. Which famous people did we lose? What historical events took place? What did the stock market do? And after looking back, we start to wonder, what is coming in the new year? When I wake up tomorrow, what can I expect? Will there be a job change? How about changes in relationships or maybe health? Will there finally be peace on earth? Or will this be the year we finally break it for good? We all spend time wondering, don't we? I wonder how many of you have been thinking about what I was going to be like. Am I what you imagined? How many of you thought when you saw intern minister and seminary student, you'd be seeing an old gray-haired guy pushing Social Security? When you saw me, did it change your expectations? Did it change the questions you have running through your mind? Maybe they've changed to, what's this guy doing going to seminary at his age? And what is his experience? Can he even give a sermon? Lots of things for you to wonder about. And me, well, I wondered for sure, will they like me? Will I inspire them or bore them to tears? What will it be like to present a sermon in a historic, beautiful church like this one, rather than the buildings in which I usually preach, which are a former law office or a converted transmission shop? It's true. They're both beautiful, but I haven't been to Savannah in years. What will it be like? So much to wonder about. And then there's looking back. What was this year like for you, for this church? Coming out of the pandemic, finally getting back together on Sundays mostly. When you look back at this past year, what things come to mind for you? For me, it's been a big year of change. I sold the house I lived in for almost 30 years and moved to a new town. I started my internships at the churches in Brunswick and Statesboro, and I'm doing a chaplaincy internship at Emory Decatur Hospital. And just 2 weeks ago, I got a new granddaughter, Morgan. She's beautiful, and her two brothers love her and took great pride in telling me all about her in our Christmas video chat. It's been a good year. A hectic year, full of change, but a good year. And now, here I am with you. With you expecting me to inspire and share my thoughts on one of the great gifts of the mystery of tomorrow. I've been lucky in my internship so far. My teaching minister, the Reverend Jane Page, who some of you may know from Statesboro or Brunswick, I think she's actually preached here, told me to recycle some of my previous sermons. They'd be new to those congregations. They'd never heard them. But rather trying to fit those sermons into your Soul Matters theme, I decided to go all out and write this one, a new one. And just between us, it might show up next week in Brunswick, or at least part of it. I have to say I love writing sermons and coming up with ideas, especially about a theme talking about the gifts of mystery. So knowing that I would be expected to come here with some deep thoughts and help to unravel the great mysteries of existence, I'd figure I'd better be ready. Wanting to make a good impression, I thought I'd get myself some new clothes. These pants, shirt, and tie are all new and being debuted here today for you. To be honest, I have been told most of my old wardrobe was getting pretty tired, so I took an expert with me when I went to get these. My partner and I went shopping. We had a really good time at the outlet mall in Dawsonville. And in addition to these clothes, I got a couple of other things. She got a couple of things. It was a good day. We ended up stopping for lunch before heading back to Gainesville, where I live, up in Gainesville, Georgia, to eat at a place called Chicken Salad Chick. It's a fun place, good food. And as soon as we sat down to eat, I started talking about what I needed to pick up at the grocery store for dinner that night, and what I was going to make. I was just rambling along when Jill looked at me and said, I'm right here, right now. Can we plan later? That made me stop in my tracks, and I thought about it for a second and realized that is something I do on a regular basis. And I asked her to remind me when I do that in the future so I could maybe be more present. We spend so much time planning and plotting, looking at horoscopes and market analysis, all to make sure we are ready for what the mysteries of tomorrow will bring. Or we may spend time looking back over our shoulders, doing our own retrospectives. Heck, anybody who's on social media knows that Facebook is happy to do that for you. How many of you have recently seen those? On this day 3 years ago, you posted this. And while, whether looking back or looking forward, I realized we're missing out on today. Now, don't get me wrong, we do need to look forward to the future every now and then and wonder about the great mysteries that reside there, but not to the expense of right here, right now. Honest answers, please. How many of you have made plans or are still trying to figure out what your plans are for tonight? Yeah, I see hands. Where will you be going? Who will be the designated driver? Have we confirmed the babysitter if you need one of those? It is our nature to wonder, and we do it out of curiosity and in many cases safety. We have been conditioned to be afraid of the unknown. Everything from the dark to the stock market, the supposed experts tell us what we should be looking forward to, what the economy looks like, what a spiritual outlook is, what will happen if certain people get elected to be president of the United States. We spend a lot of time wondering and pondering, looking back and what-ifing. But what about now? I think back to that day when I went shopping and I almost missed a beautiful lunch with one of the most important people in my life because I was obsessed with planning for dinner. As I mentioned, in addition to my seminary and internship, I'm also doing my CPE this year. That's the time when seminary students are intern chaplains at a hospital. I love being a chaplain. As a matter of fact, I love it so much it has me thinking about what to do when I graduate from Meadville. Do I find a congregation, which is what I always thought I wanted to do, or go find a residency in a hospital and continue down the path of chaplaincy? I've wondered and pondered about it. They are important questions, but the thing I've gotten out of chaplaincy is that you absolutely have to be present in that exact moment with the patients you are seeing. You can't dwell on the last patient you saw or try to figure out the next patient you are about to see. You need to be there, right there in that moment for that person who may need you. You can't wonder, you can't ponder, you just need to be. Okay. So many of you probably are wondering now, why did you ask this guy from Gainesville to come preach to us about how he struggles with being in the moment? Aren't we supposed to wonder about the mysteries of life? Isn't that what he put up on the board out there? The mysteries of tomorrow? Those deep questions, something new and different? Well, here's my getting deep for you. My point of all this rambling is to illustrate how we as a people spend so much time reliving yesterday and worrying about today, or worrying about tomorrow, that we miss today. And isn't the mystery of today a gift in and of itself? Something happens when you start to write a sermon. You may sit down with your ideas, and they asked me about a month ago what I was going to do my sermon on, and we said, yeah. They said, it's the gifts of mystery this month. I thought the mystery of tomorrow. And I realized as I wrote that wasn't the sermon I needed to be giving. We have to be present to experience what is happening around us. Fully present, fully ready for the gifts, the mystery of today, tomorrow, and yesterday can bring us. I made a point of not looking at any of your previous sermons this month. I don't have a clue which mysteries of life you may have investigated, and there are so many. What happens when our time as humans here on earth ends? Is there a heaven with streets paved in gold and harps and choirs of angels? Is there a hell with fire and brimstone? Do we get to be incarnated and return to earth, maybe as a cow or a dolphin? Those are real mysteries for which I will tell you I have no insight and no answer for. Why do some of us suffer and some of us prosper? Why do some of us find the love of our life and spend decades with them while others seem to struggle with making relationships work? Why are we born on this earth into this amazing tapestry of humanity? Why do we insist as human beings on treating those who appear or act differently than us in ways that are discriminatory or even just plain evil? So many mysteries, none of which we have an answer to. But I do know today I get to be here in Savannah with you. I'm here, you're here, we are here experiencing this mystery of life as it unfolds real time. No pondering on the past, no wondering about the future. It's happening to us right now. I look back and realize that I've been blessed with seeing so much of my life and seeing it from a place of real privilege. I've experienced people I know being called names just because of their race. I've seen legal discrimination. I've watched people I know and care for die because they were afflicted with AIDS and HIV and didn't get the treatment they deserved just because of who they were and who they loved. Lots of things to ponder. And looking forward, I'm anxious to finish my time in seminary and internships and towards ordination as a UU minister. There's a lot to do, and I have no idea what's in front of me. What I do know that according to my astrological chart, this will be a year where I will find new and innovative ways of connecting with people. A year of deep healing and a huge year for expansion of my career. I'm not yet sure what all that means, but there is something, and I certainly should spend some time wondering about it. But I also realize that life is not like an episode of Murder, She Wrote. We don't get the satisfaction of getting the answers to the question before the end of the episode. I'd like to think that maybe that's what happens at our end of our time here on earth. We suddenly get clarity and have our aha moment. But who knows? That's a mystery in and of itself. So like the news shows, I could spend today looking back on 2023, and I have, and thinking about all the things that have happened. And then looking forward to 2024 and thinking about all the things that might happen, and I have. But what I'd like to do is spend today right here, right now with you. Today only happens once in our life. Once it's finished, it becomes yesterday. And the tomorrow that we've all been wondering about becomes today. And it starts all over again each today with new adventures, new lessons, new emotions, new mysteries, and all there for us to discover and experience. To me, it doesn't get much deeper than that. It's about the mystery of right now, this minute. And thank you for letting me spend today with you. What a gift this day of mystery has been. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
Thank you, Randy. That was a wonderful sermon. And you know, I would like to call an audible, and we're supposed to sing the first Noel, but I would rather us sing hymn number 350, because the words are just so perfectly melded with Randy's message. I don't usually change things, but it's New Year's Eve, the choir's not here. So 350, you'll see how perfectly the words fit in. Stand as you are able and sing with us.
Okay, that was kind of freaky. It was great. I loved it. For our benediction today, there is so much we can learn from the past, as the hymn just stated, to prepare for the future, but we can't forget about today. I think John Denver said it best when he sang this at the end of a concert I saw, of all places, in Birmingham, England, years ago. Today, while the blossom still clings to the vine, I'll taste your strawberries, I'll drink your sweet wine. A million tomorrows will all pass away, ere I forget all the joy that is mine today. May you find your joy in all the mysteries of today. Our time here this morning is complete, but our journey has just begun. Go in peace.